welcome back to Bill's Retro Stuff. And today we're going to tear apart these two devices, the floppy disks and the CD-ROM, and clean her up. Even the faces will clean up right here. What I will use with this is I'm a big guy on windshield washer solvent because I do believe it has low alcohol, because if you leave it out, it evaporates a lot quicker than water, and some regular alcohol to clean the heads inside, just to kind of clean them up a little bit. So let's go ahead and tackle the floppy drive. Let's move the CD-ROM over to the side real quick. I'll leave it over here, get it out of the way, and let's go ahead with the floppy drive. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to pull this cover off. This cover does not have any screws. Most of the time it's just these connectors, these little things here, so we just pop them up with our fingernails. And yes, I bite my nails, so I don't really have too many of those, but I try not to, but unfortunately. So, and we'll pull this out. And this is a 1.44 floppy, so if it doesn't work, no big deal. I've got more. I don't want to have to do more, but I do have more if I need it. And this is a Mitsumi, so here we go. We'll pull the cap off, and there's the top right there. That's the lid, and you can tell it's, I don't know if you can tell by the camera or not, but it's pretty dusty inside. I won't take the mechanism apart, although the top mechanism is not as bad to get apart as where the heads are. But most of the time we'll just blow it out. We're going to go ahead and take the front off, and most of the time it's just, you just got to squeeze these little tabs right here on the inside. So we'll squeeze it in, and hope the heck the plastic isn't fragile enough that I'm going to break something. Let's try this again. Here, there we go. There we go. We'll do the other side here real quick. Yeah, sometimes this plastic is fragile, especially if it's been in a machine shop environment, because machine shop environments are pretty rough on this stuff. Or, you know. There we go. I had the one off. It takes a little time. It's not something that just, you know, again, like you got right here, it pops back in by itself. So let's see here. Let's try it again. It's two hands here. Let's pop this one down here. Come on. Get down in there. Come on. Yeah, sometimes it just takes a little time. And there's that. We'll go ahead and pull the button off so we can clean it. There's the buttons. Here's the lid and the button. And now let's take a look and let's clean this drive up. So again, we'll take our paintbrush and kind of break some of the loose dust down. Same within here. Make sure they're just give it a good brushing. And so there's that. Let's go ahead and take some of the dust off the table. Then I'll take a I'm not liking the way it kind of looks inside there. It's got a lot of dust hanging around. So we may take the mechanism apart, at least the top carrier off. Let's see what we can do with that. But other than that, it don't look too shabby. So let's get my damp cloth here. Let's just wipe stuff down. Let's see what. Maybe it's just the way the plastic looks. The way it looks, it's probably mostly just the way the plastics, the metals look, because I thought it was dust, but it's not. Because even when I wipe the side down, nothing comes off. So, you know, so there's nothing really here. I thought there might have been some dust up in there, but well, I guess there is some little dust in there. So let's see if we can take a gander here about taking this cover off. And I don't know if I want to tackle that. I've done that before, but we may not mess with that, because the problem is we get into that. It may be too long of a video if I do that. So, and so, well, that's all right. I'll be blowing in it. Still ain't too shabby. So what I'll do is now, I'm going to go ahead and we'll lay this aside. Let's go ahead and clean our knob up. what I normally do is just a damp cloth, and I'll take that. And this is just a spray bottle with windshield washer solvent in it. And I'll take my little brush here, zoom in a little bit, oh, wrong way, zoom in a little bit, and let's clean this dirt off of this. Let's get a little more of that spray on there. Beauty thing is, it's not really dirty yet, or it's not too yellowed yet, so we'll scrub that off first. Thing is, when I was younger, I really wasn't into Tandy computers much. I didn't really quite get into them until my father-in-law, who's now passed away, he bought a Tandy 1000. And at that time, believe it or not, I was already into the 286s, so, you know, it wasn't like there. And what I'll do now is I'll take a little bit of Scotch-Brite pad here. And you don't want to scrub too hard with Scotch-Brite because it will leave little fine scratches in there. But you can do just a very light motion on it without damaging anything. A little bit of Scotch-Brite there. That will take some of the heavier scratches off, or heavier wear, or heavier dirt, or whatever seems to be causing this, as you can tell. And we'll wipe it down. And as you can tell, the button is a lot cleaner. I got a lot of the wear off, so that's good. Now we'll tackle the door. Alrighty, same thing. I'll take my cleaner here and we'll come back to the master drive in a minute, because I'll re-silicon or lithium grease it. And so right now I just want to clean the front off right here. And then I'll do the same thing. I'll take my little brush and I'll just clean it up, make sure she's clean. See how we got a little bit of dirt there and a little bit of dirt on the front there. Now I can take the cover off. And it's not really hard, you just got to remember where the springs were. And of course this side's only sprung on one side, but I think I can do it by doing this here. So here's kind of dirty, you can tell where it kind of sucked in dust over time. I gotta make sure I keep in that camera. Sometimes I just get away from that camera, and I'm sorry about that. Because sometimes you get into cleaning this stuff, it just takes time. And still didn't quite clean up the front, so there's where let me get me another towel to lay down on the table here. Oh, about out of towels, I'll have to get some more. That's alright. Yeah. When you get into cleaning stuff like this, you know, sometimes you run out of towels, so I'll leave that there. So what I'll do is I'll get my cleaner and I'll clean a little bit around. I'll spray a little bit on here. Come on. This bottle's old as all get out, so let's lay this back up over here. It's old as get out, so now I'll take my Scotch-Brite and I'll just give just a little scrubbing. Scotch-Brite seems to handle it a little better as far as getting some of the odds and ends stuff that you just can't normally get. But you know, Scotch-Brite isn't dangerous unless you really go crazy with it. And as you notice, I'm just lightly doing it. I'm not even trying to go crazy with it. That's the problem when people get in that. And it gets you too crazy trying to get stuff like this clean. And then I'll just lay that back there again. And we'll just saturate it again. And we'll lay that out of the way. We'll grab our towel again and we'll clean it up. And then we'll give it a little bit of a blow dry here. Alright, but we still got a little bit right up in this door area. I know you probably can't see it on the camera, but right around the light area. Like I said, normally what I would have done, I know I'm off camera, but I'm going to use the damp cloth here to kind of get me what I want. I leave the damp cloth there because the damp cloth gives me what I want. There we go. There we go. There we go. Makes me feel much better. It's a lot cleaner. A lot cleaner. Like I said, I might hit the off camera every now and then, but I try not to. I really do. But I'm not quite used to the camera deal yet. I'm used to when I tear my stuff apart, just to tear it apart wherever I'm at. I just got to start learning to make sure I stay. So there it is. So if you look at it, it's a lot cleaner than it was. Slide this out the way. It's a lot cleaner than it was. Yep, a lot cleaner. So, got all the dirt. Got a little bit, but that's just because it's just from my Scotch-Brite a little bit. It's not dirty. All right, there that is. So we'll lay that. Let's zoom this back out. Let's go back out there. There we go. So now we'll take my damp cloth and just wipe the aluminum off. Yeah, let's take the aluminum and clean it off. You know, it's funny, I'm using paper towels, but I do have towels right here. If I've had these towels, I don't know why I don't use them. But there we go. There we go. There we go. The yellowing of the label I can't really do much with, and that's another sure sign. I've not seen too much of the labels turning yellow inside a house, but I have seen it turn yellow from outside, from machine shops or shops in general. That's why I'm tending to think this in here came from a machine shop. Of course, people can say differently. Okay, I had to leave the screen just for a little bit, or leave the camera just for a little bit. What I want to do now is I really want to re-lithium grease the screw, which we'll be cleaning at it a little bit. I'll take some alcohol and some swabs, which I have right here. All the covers, by the way, is underneath that. So, yeah, so we'll go ahead and I want to re-lube the drive, make sure it's good. Make sure it's good. So what we'll do first of all is I always go in and I'll just clean some of the stuff off here. Dip some of this in my alcohol there, put the lid on, and I'll clean the crap off of that just a bit. You don't want to use any alcohol, or you don't want to use any sprays in here, because you don't really want to get any type of grease or anything. Alcohol will probably be alright, but you don't want to get any grease on the boards. And right now I'm just trying to clean that screw a bit. And sometimes I'll pull and this stuff here is usually kind of hard to pull because it's a real tight weave, but I'll take something and I'll do that, and I'll dip in some alcohol again, and I'll get down into that a little better. The older drives were easier that were belt driven, were a lot easier to mess with than the other stuff I've ever done. Because you can spin it. This here you can't really spin. I guess you can, But you want to kind of spin it if you can to try to get some of this old. See, this here's got a lot of contaminants in it. And like I said, this is, I keep saying it, I know it's probably like a broken record, but I do believe this stuff has come from a shop somewhere. Because of the type of dust it is. Because, like I said, in a household you don't have this stuff here. And if I had more time, or if I'd dedicate a whole video, I could tell you how to tear the whole, take time and tear this whole carriage apart so you can get down in it. But I don't think it's that bad yet. I mean, I'm just going to take my fingers here and run the motor and bring the head all the way up, and I'll go ahead and clean it. As you can tell, it's not bad. Not bad at all. Alrighty, now we'll come back here a little bit. And we'll come back, make sure we get everything cleaned up, right up in there. I know it's hard for me to really zoom in. Same with here, I'll take, if you look down inside, and I don't think I can get you any more in, but I'm going to clean that thing right here. Take a little alcohol and just kind of clean that up in there. I know it's hard to tell on the camera, but that's where the disc will rest. Not necessarily the disc, but the platter inside the disc will rest onto that. And that's what locks onto the drive of the disc. So, and while we're here, we will. No, I'm not throwing it on the floor. I have a trash can there just in case anybody's asking. So we'll go ahead and I'm in here. I'll clean the heads up. The heads, there's two of them. It's a double-sided, double-density disc. So yeah, see here, right there it is. If I can get down in there. Now the thing is, I got to pull it towards me to see it. And a little bit of pressure on the head above it isn't going to hurt anything, but I'm going to clean that up anyway. And it don't look too bad. And to do the top, it's going to be hard to show you, but I'm going to pop the top up. I'm just going to let the swab just rest on the head. Okay, and then that's all you do with it. That's it. Now, that's pretty good there. So, there's that. I'm just taking a little alcohol and just wipe things around. But if you notice, not a whole lot of stuff's coming off the platter or anything, so I think it's not as bad. Down here I don't care much for. It does have a little bit more dust, but I don't know if I want to spend the time right now to tear it apart. Considering I have these, they're not like they're hard to find. And this is not a Tandy product anyway, so you know it's not like there is. So I'll just take my little damp cloth and I'll just wipe it. Alright, and that's all. And I don't even know who makes this. I can't, if I take the cover off, I can tell you it's usually on the motor. I'll just take my cloth and just wipe things down here just a little bit. Alright, now what I want to do is I'll put a little lithium grease on this thing right here. And I'm not going to spray it on there. I'm going to shake my lithium grease up. I'm going to put a little bit on my thing here. And we'll go ahead and I'm going to I think I got to shake my lithium grease up a little bit more. I'm not really getting any lithium. There we go. There we go. Then I'll put it down here on the sliders a bit. You should only have one slider on this because the motor on the other side pulls the rest of it. only bad thing about sprays, they do kind of make a mess. Let's run it back up here again. Make the drive nice and slippery again. Alrighty. There we go. Alrighty. Put this out of our way. Alright, gotta clean up some of my mess. I had a mess over here. Alright, so we'll go ahead and pop a little extra lithium on here. When we power the drive up, it'll go where it needs to go. So now we've done all that, and let's put a little bit more in here. And then what I'll do now is I'll just put a little bit down in here. And this is where I'll do a light spray into my some lithium grease, just a little bit. You don't want to go too crazy, but the problem is if you go too crazy, you'll have grease everywhere. So you just take your, just give you just a little bit of a spray in here. Well, that's a little too much, but that's all right. I know, there's no such thing as a little spray. So, doing the other side over here. Bad thing about it is there's no way to really control your spray here, so you try not to go too crazy with it, but sometimes it just doesn't work. Alright, I still say that's just fine. That's fine there. Sorry about that. Alright, so as far as I'm concerned, that's fine. Sometimes I'll put just a little bit in here, just a little bit of lube in here, so that when it slides, it's got something to slide against. Oh, I'm not even on camera. Ain't even on camera. Put a little bit of grease so that head can slide. Other than that, that's about as far as we're going to go there. I'll go ahead and put the cover back on. Let's zoom out a little bit so we can see what we got. Whoop, a little too far. It's coming in there. Okay, so we'll do that, and then we'll go ahead and lay the oh, that's right. I did tell you it was Mitsumi. I said I didn't know the make earlier, and I was sitting here cleaning it off, and I said, oh, that is a Mitsumi. So I'll go ahead and slide that on. Yeah, they're, like I said, they're not an easy thing to do. Okay, we got that one. Okay, so you got this little clips. There we go. We'll just clip it back on. Okay. And make sure that we ain't got no lithium grease somewhere it's supposed to be. Doesn't look like it. Looks good. So there's that. And we'll pop the cover back on. Put the cover back on. And it just slides back where it belongs. Just put both sides on. And then we'll slide it forward a little bit. A little bit more, so it's still not there, so this has to go over the lid here. So let me get my little screwdriver here. Alright. Yeah, because this is not in its proper place. There we go. There we go. There's that one. Come on, go forward there. Alright, let's get this off here. Let's get this up where it belongs. Alright, let's pop it back off here. It wants to kind of fight me right now for some reason, so let's put that back where it belongs. There we go. It just had to go up around that lip a little bit. But there it is. Drives nice and clean. Unfortunately, I spent more time cleaning this drive than I wanted to, so I'll have to make another video for the CD-ROM part of it. Hopefully eventually we'll get this puppy all back together. Thanks for watching.